Yo, what is going on, Steeler Nation? This is episode 415 of the Steel Factory podcast. My name is Rion. I'm joined by my co-host Junior today.
What's up?
All right, fresh off the win, Victory Monday, beat the Raiders. Pretty easy game, I'd say so, but we have a lot of thoughts about the game, so we'll dive into that right now. First impressions. Let's let it rip, dude.
First impression. I mean, look, we scored 30 points for the first time in Arthur Smith's tenure. We never did that with Matt Canada. The one time we did score 30 points last year, we had who was it?
It was Rudolph.
Yeah, it was Rudolph. No, but who was the OC? It was like it was a run game coordinator or something.
The run game coordinator and like the QB coach, the combo they did. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was with Rudolph. So I mean, honestly though, it was a pretty like unimpressive 30-point game offensively, if you can put it that way.
Yeah.
Like we got the ball so often on super short fields with like monumental efforts from the defense and like really great like defensive like showing. I think they only scored on their first drive.
And then garbage at the end, and they kicked an onside kick, pretty much.
Yeah. So I think, on the first drive we were definitely terrified, to be quite honest. Like we kept like thinking like, oh wow, like this team is so done. Defense
it was like
is overrated.
Like a here we go again, like feeling like seriously, that was the easiest 70-yard drive I've ever seen. Just they didn't even get to a third down. I remember the announcers kept saying that. But yeah, I mean, really glad they bounced back after that, because we were feeling already defeated after that, right?
Definitely. Like TJ had a monster game, 2 fumbles. I don't think he had any sacks, but he had a lot of tackles for losses.
Yeah.
And he just really like game wrecker. He doesn't need to get sacks. Like the fact that he can consistently like punch the ball out, like that's crazy.
Yeah. Damn, he's been doing that his whole career. And yeah, the defense stood up. I mean, well, we could talk about the offense in a second, about how we really got those 30 points. But yeah, credit to the defense. Glad they bounced back. Dudes like Dante Jackson really showing up. So showing just immediate return on investment from Deontay Johnson. Again, one of his picks set up the offense nicely in the red zone. I want to say someone else had a pick as well, right? No?
I'm not sure.
I know we had a couple fumbles. There was a block punt. They had the onside kick. And all that allowed the offense to score really easy 30 points. I mean, what did you think? I mean, honestly, let's start off. Apologies to Najee Harris, I guess. I mean, but at the same time, too, we kind of expected this, right? Him to start slow at the beginning and then eventually kind of turn it on, right?
Yeah, I know you've been mentioning that for a while. Like Najee always seemed to start slow, and then as the year goes on, he picks it up. This is definitely this is, I mean, obviously a huge game for him. He had like 120 yards rushing. He had that amazing like 35-yard touchdown.
Right, that was awesome.
That was sick. He had like 2 really good runs. For one of them was like for 25 yards where he like juked out.
That was
and
nice
broke
too.
this dude's ankles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, like Najee coming out game, at least for this season, he always seems to start super slow, and the frustrations are always there. I think we've been talking a lot of shit about Arthur Smith and his like pitch to Najee all year, and how it's just such a dumb play. But obviously, it worked out yesterday, and does that really mean anything coming from the Raiders? Who are like one of the worst defenses in the league? Like, it depends, but it's still really good to see that we can beat up on a bad team.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how the other 2 losses, I'm not saying how they should have went, but you were thinking this was kind of how it should have went, right? You got a team like the Colts. Anthony Richardson was leading like the league in picks at the time, and then of course the Cowboys were just really starting so slow. And I mean, the defense had as many turnovers. It was just the offense lack thereof capitalizing off of them. And yeah, I mean, Najee was excellent. We gave all his highlights already, and then Fields is just, do you want to call it automatic in the red zone on those QB draws or whatever?
It does feel a little like it feels like that's our go-to play when we try to get it to Pickens. Honestly, he dropped it.
He did drop one. Yeah.
I think we try to run it in with Najee, but I don't know. He's not that great of a short yardage back, to be honest. Like he's a big guy, but I feel like he struggles to pick up like those tougher yards.
In
I
a
think
sense, yeah. Yeah.
Jalen Warren's a little bit better at really kind of powering through, or I think Cordell Patterson might be as well. But yeah, like that last drive, I think we got it like at the 15 after like an interception or something, or maybe it might have been the blocked punt, and we still had to settle for a field goal there, which is still like frustrating.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes you think we still kicked 4 field goals. So it's like, okay, this offense definitely should have put up more points with how much the defense was giving them help. But yeah, still 30 points regardless. You kind of take that. Good momentum. And then I guess, what does this mean in the larger scheme of things? Do you stick with Fields and you hope they continue to build off this, right? I mean, the guy can.
Yeah,
There is a lot of bad passes, though.
there
I
is a lot
know
of bad
he only
passes.
passed it like 23 times, but there was a lot of bad passes. I remember one
Let me see.
sequence, he had 3 straight, just inaccurate, just misses. And then that just
Yeah.
led to a field goal right away. I was like, come
He-
on, man.
Yeah, I remember that sequence. He was just kept getting like thrown out of the pocket, and instead of like keeping his composure,
Right.
he'd be throwing it on the run, and they would just be like overthrown, just really bad balls.
Yeah.
With no chance.
Even the one catch that Pickens that set us up inside the 5, that was an underthrow. Pickens could have scored on that with a much better throw. But with that too, there was probably 2 passes that were really nice on the run too. Not big gains, but intermediate range, to like Calvin Austin, I think one was. Probably one of Pickens as well. So it's like, all right, can we get him settled down and not so panicky, which is hard to do because, I mean, the line had another blow of Zach Frazier going down. We'll see how severe that is. I'm assuming we'll find out tomorrow.
I think I saw it was his ankle.
Ankle?
So I mean, depending on that, he could be back next week, or it could be like a high ankle sprain, and that's like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's good they said that and not like an Achilles right away, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a way better.
Yeah, so hopefully
it's
it
way
is just
better
probably
injury.
like a high ankle sprain, maybe out for a week or 2. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Did you pull up
Here-
stats? Yeah.
I got a little stat for us on the Steelers' 3 touchdown drives. Justin Fields completed 1 pass for 6
I
yards.
saw this one.
And
Yeah.
I was talking about this yesterday. I sent this in our group chat, and I was saying, like, you know what? We scored 30 points, and like this is a game that I really needed to like feel like better about this team.
Easy,
just for, like,
easy
my
to
own,
watch. Easy to watch. Yeah.
yeah, just for like my own like emotional health.
My blood pressure, pretty
Uh,
much. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if Fields needs to go 80 yards for a touchdown, I have next to zero faith that he can do it. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I want to. The thing is, you could always point back to that Colts game, which we've done the last 2 weeks. Because there was 80 play drives or 80-yard drives in there, but it's still. Can we do this at the beginning of games, right? When it's still 0-0? Again, I think we scored a touchdown at the very last second of the first half. But besides that, we only had like 2 field goals. I don't know how many fumbles we had already in the red zone in the first half. It kind of just seems like we really took over in the second. But yeah, and then again, a lot of just stuff that shouldn't be happening already midway through the season now for a game that was a home game. A lot of false starts, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, procedural stuff, couple delay games, and it's just like, all right, this team needs to kind of get it together at this point, right? I mentioned that too, I think, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully still a lot of work on. I mean, we'll see what happens. It was weird though that Russ was the number 2 and not the emergency now at this point. I think he's off the injury report. So we'll see what it means going forward. What happened?
One more thing about Fields is he got bailed out a couple times by the refs. He had 2 terrible balls that were
One got picked.
intercepted.
Yeah.
One got picked. And he got bailed out. He got I think roughing the passer and
Twice, yeah.
and that got us one of the touchdowns, I think.
Right.
So like I mean that's a good topic, worth thinking about. Is a lot of people on Twitter. We had a lot of overreactions on Twitter. I know like Friday, Saturday, all the big Steeler homers, were convincing themselves that we were going to lose this game and it was going to be a classic Tomlin game. But these are the same guys that are going to be telling you like, oh, Fields has 12 touchdowns and 1 pick, and y'all want to replace him, or like when we should be like, when we should just be putting weapons around him. I still don't. I'm still not sold on Fields. I still see that he has a lot of
Chicago
uh,
still stuff on him. Yeah.
Chicago. He's a lot. He's still very much that same player that the Bears moved on from.
Right.
And I think we've done a better job of like coaching and putting him in positions to like, not make game losing mistakes. But at the same time, they're still kind of slipping in through the cracks. And I hope he can kind of reel those back in.
Yeah. I'd like to kind of see him stay in the pocket more so, and run more on those designed runs, right? I mean, and by staying in the pocket, I mean not moving so much laterally, right? To kind of move around. I'd like to see him, continue to work on being the pocket passer that we kind of saw the first 3 weeks, right? Definitely a huge difference in what we've seen the first 3 weeks and then these last 3 games, right? You kind of liked what you saw more so those first 3 weeks, in a sense that he was kind of eliminating those bad plays, right?
Yeah.
But now it's not like we're even opening up the offense more, but those bad plays are starting to come in even without giving him so much, chances to make decisions like that, right?
Yep. It's crazy to see like it's weird because the more of a leash we give Fields, like it seems like that stuff is so ready to come out,
Yeah.
The more we put on his plate, like it seems like he's not ready to really handle it all. Yeah, just like, but hopefully we can keep the offense, condensed and at the same time really efficient, right? Like those QB draw runs for Fields are fantastic plays. I think they're one of our most like efficient plays. Obviously, like it's basically automatic in the red zone. I think he has like 4 touchdowns in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something there. I don't know. I don't want to say he's our franchise guy. I'm not. I'm a reactionary guy. I'm not that reactionary when it comes to quarterback though. So I don't think he's our franchise guy, but I still want to. I still think we should ride out the entire season
We
with
gotta
him.
ride on of him and just make a minor move at receiver,
Definitely, we gotta do something. If it's Devontae Adams, maybe we see that trade this week. Maybe the Raiders are waiting for the game or the week to be over to kind of finish their business with us. And there's like some kind of handshake deal going on before. We might have seen that, but we might have seen that reported, last week, right? So who knows? I'd love to see Devontae Adams on this team. I'd love to see another good wide receiver with like, great hands.
Yeah.
Because Pickens is definitely, I don't know. He's got like this drop bug going on.
He might be getting in his head now. He's like 6 weeks in, no touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, let's just, this is a good game to build on, right? You ended the losing streak, you stopped the bleeding, you put up 30 points, your defense bounced back, and you just kind of hope the offense continues to hum, I guess, that run game especially. And Fields is included in that run game, dude. Like more credit to him on that. You know what I mean? Chewy was calling him Kenny Pickett with legs. Let's see what happens.
I think we saw Warren get a few snaps, I think, right?
Yeah, I think they're probably easing him back in, but it's good to see Najee have a monster game with the another running back in there too.
Yeah, and I think Roman Wilson got a few snaps too.
No targets
they're
though.
Using him like they were using him more as a blocker.
Which you did at Michigan? Yeah,
exactly. I saw I did a bunch of that at Michigan, so that might have been why a big reason why we drafted him. I know Arthur Smith likes to use his like wide receivers to develop like blocks further down the field for like the run game and stuff. So so hopefully we get to see more of that, because obviously Pickens isn't really doing that. Not to rag on him too much.
Yeah. I mean,
there's lots of good, but also lots to improve on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess I think now at this point you try to build Pickens back up. You got the run game going. You got Najee going. And yeah, let's just honestly, I really like. I think we could exhale now, right? That was a good game. You're kind of confident back in the your confidence is back in the defense, and you see a lot more for the offense to build on. And yeah, any other closing thoughts while we wrap this up now?
Dude, the defensive free agent signings that we got this week or that we got this year turned out to be fantastic. I think great
Yeah,
pickups from Khan.
yeah,
Khan, we could talk about GM at a later date, probably at the end of maybe sometime in the off season. We'll kind of evaluate like, okay, how are the first 2 years of Khan going? But I think so far the defensive pickups that we got, like Elliott and Dante Jackson, have been fantastic. They've been like big
right,
impacts.
right. And then yeah, we get Patrick Queen going. You know, he's already the center of the defense, calling the shots or whatever. But yeah, 4-2 onto the Jets. We'll be back Thursday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And yeah, peace out. Here we go, Steelers.